Alright, students, welcome to week 9. This is week 9, class 1. And so let's get right into it. So we are continuing to discuss critical thinking. And so we ended last class when talking about when engaging in debate, dialogue, arguments, a critical thinker can identify and refrain from using faulty reasoning or logical fallacies. And so let's take a look at what those are. So the very first logical fallacy is the slippery slope argument. So the slippery slope argument is if we exacerbate a connection, such as you have to realize we women just recently got to vote in the mid 1900s. And so saying something like, well, if we let women vote, then next we'll let animals vote. That is an exacerbated connection. And so when some people, again, run out of valid argument, they will go directly to a slippery slope, and some people use it on purpose. They know that it is a way to deceive people who are simply on the knowledge level, because critical thinkers would be able to see right through that. Next, you could use attacking the person. And so attacking the person basically means a personal attack. So don't vote for him because his hair is ugly. Don't vote for them because they don't want to raise taxes. However, they're only running for the school board election. That has nothing to do with it, right? And so a personal attack has nothing to do with the qualifications for the job or for the item or for whatever that you are doing. Next is simply begging. I'm not giving you any facts or evidence. Just please vote for me. Just do this, right? No facts, no evidence. Just trust me and do this, right? And so we see that a lot in political ads. Next, appealing to a false authority. So a false authority is going to mean questionable or no expertise. And so we see this a lot where they use celebrities as celebrity endorsers, and they may have no expertise in the area, but it appears that they do. We also see this in the political cycle for voting. So you'll see somebody come out with some poll. Well, who did this poll? Are they legitimate? Do they have any expertise in the area? And you see this a lot of time in selling books. They say, buy Dr. So-and-so. Well, a doctor in what? Right? Just as long as they have a degree, is that all that matters? And so somebody may be talking to you about buying a toothpaste, and they're a doctor, but are they really a dentist? So that is what appealing to false authority is. Next, we have jumping on a bandwagon. And jumping on the bandwagon is believing it because others believe it. And so sometimes we don't even realize, because it's such a trend at the moment, or because it's so saturated on TV or media, we just assume everybody's buying that product or everybody's voting for this person. And I just want you to know, statistics can be skewed, but statistics can be used in a way to make you think that everyone's doing it. So obviously, if a survey comes out and said 90% of people are doing this, and it's a legitimate survey, you can believe that. However, who is that survey from, right? How many people did they survey? And on the other hand, sometimes they'll use a number and be like, can you believe 41% of people like this? Isn't that awesome? Well, that means 59% doesn't. But the way they present it makes it seem like everyone is doing it. So that is jumping on the bandwagon. Next, we have assuming something is true because it has not been proven false. And so the biggest example of this I can give you is religion. People will fight and debate and argue about religion till the end of time because some people believe it's true because it can't be proven false, and some people believe the exact opposite. They are not going to believe it until it is being proven true, right? And so that is a decades-old war and fight because of this. And so assuming something is true because it has been proven false is no evidence, then it must be true. It's that way of thinking. And so we also see this with drugs. Some people, unless they see the data, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And some people, ignorance is bliss. They don't want to see the data because they're still going to do what they want to do. And so all drugs in this nation have derived from some way, shape, or form, usually of a plant. Now we have synthetics, obviously, but that at one point, even synthetics were used in a legal manner. And there's something called a risk to benefit ratio. And so, especially with drugs, is the risk of taking the drug, does it far outweigh the benefit of it? If it does, then they make them illegal. Because, I mean, even something like cocaine was used as an analgesic. It had medical purposes. But people became addicted to it. People were dying from it. And so we said, oh, no, no, no. The risk far outweighs this benefit. So we made it illegal. And so this is an example of assuming something must be true because it has not been proven false yet. Falling victim to a false cause. So I don't want you to get off on this and misunderstand it. So a false cause means something caused it, not like, oh, that's a phony charity. So this is basically superstitions. Oh, we won this game today and I did something different. I put my right shoe on first, so now I always put my right shoe on. And we have a lot of laws in this nation that were developed from this victim of a false cause. Something happened at the exact same time something else happened, so we believe, oh, that must have caused it. Like, don't put rocks on this ledge because it may cause an avalanche. Well, maybe one day someone put a rock there and it caused the avalanche. And so that is a victim to a false cause. So making hasty generalizations. Hasty generalization is a conclusion only based on one source. But I want you to know something. Generalizations are not bad. Stereotypes are bad. So stereotypes are when I put all people into a box. I say all women are like this. All men are like this. All white people are like this. All black people are like this. All Asian people. There's no exception. I place everybody in a box together. Generalizations are taking from facts, right? We know that white people in America tend to have higher educational attainment. And so that's a generalization. We know that minorities tend to live in lower socioeconomic setting. That's a generalization based on facts. So those are things that we can use. However, we can't make a stereotype by saying all white people are smart and all minorities live in poverty. That's not true. That's a stereotype. But we can make these generalizations because we do need them for resources and funding for areas. That's why we actually look at generalizations. So this says don't make a hasty generalization, meaning only based on one source. So for example, if a dog bit you, all dogs must be bad because one bit me. And so that's a hasty generalization. Alright, so let's take a look at some examples and see what you know what it is. And so this one shows everybody's doing it. Obviously, this is a visual example of the bandwagon phenomenon. The next picture, that's an ad hominem fallacy. You're an ad hominem fallacy, right? And he didn't have a comeback for him, so he just attacked him. And so we see that a lot on social media. People that are not critical thinkers just attack people who do not believe the same thing they believe. They don't have a logical argument for it, so they just attack them and they call them names. Next, it rained because I just washed my car. So the reason it rained is because I just washed my car. So that is a false cause, right? I believe that because I washed my car it rained. That is not the reason why it rained, but that is a false cause argument. Next, meanwhile in Montana state's governor race, and because of that I'm raising the minimum wage in our state. She's for raising minimum wage, but isn't even smart enough to run a business. Obviously, that's attacking the person. So the other candidate did not have a rebuttal, and so you just attack the person. Next, because all of a sudden they're champions, I jump on that bandwagon. So we do see this a lot in sports. And some of you that are die-hard fans will use this statement. Oh, y'all are just jumping on the bandwagon. Those seats were empty before, and now because they're in the playoffs, they're full. Tiger Woods is a great golfer. Tiger Woods wears Nike products. If you want to be like Tiger Woods, you should wear Nike products. Tiger Woods is not authority on sports clothing, right? And so people that will buy the clothing just because of Tiger Woods, it's that celebrity factor, right? That false authority. All cats have 4 legs. I have 4 legs, therefore I am a cat. A hasty generalization based off of one piece of information alone, right? School is killing us. Textbooks are made from paper. Paper are made from trees. We need trees for oxygen. Thus, the school is killing us. Clearly, that is going to be a slippery slope argument. Alright, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. And you guys, this was an actual ad. That is a false authority. Why do you need to show a doctor smokes Camels? It makes no sense. They're not authorities on tobacco products, but because we threw a doctor in there, all of a sudden it gives the product legitimacy. Okay, I get it, but what if I actually want to be a jerk, right? Assuming something is true because it has been proven false. And so all the way back until we had, medical boards, people sold these elixirs and these tonics. You can see it all the time in old Western movies, right? And those of you that watch And When Calls the Heart, you can see this as well. They would sell these things. And because nobody could prove that it was false, just people believed it was true. And so that is an example of assuming something is true till it's been proven false. Don't do it. Somewhere down the road it will lead to chores. Right? That slippery slope. That because he can walk, now all of a sudden he's going to be doing chores. And so I have video clips for each of you to watch, and so you can decide which example of faulty reasoning is being used. So when you click this first example, it's going to open up 4 or 5 of them. So please watch each one of them, and then you will click on each one of these. And so some of them are blatantly obvious. They will tell you, or the YouTube video shows it, but I want you to see it in action. See especially what commercials look like when they are using this faulty reasoning to get you to buy their products. So you will click on each one of these to view those videos. And so when we are looking at critical thinking in college, right, in your everyday life, we have to practice it. That's why most people don't become a critical thinker outside of the educational academic setting. It's rare that you will have a group of friends, that you will be in a work environment, that you get together and you critically think on a daily basis. Where college, it forces you to do so, and it forces you to be with lots of different people from all walks of life that can give you your own, give you perspective outside of your own. But we still need to have interactions with our family and friends, challenge them. Although they may not be critical thinkers, we can aid in that process by continually challenging them, having that dialogue, having argument, having debate. Again, with social media sites and search engines only showing us what we want to see, we think everybody thinks the same way we do. And so by having these open discussions with other people, we learn how to do it properly, and then we get to see someone else's opinion to something. And so we always want to use critical thinking to strengthen our arguments and to respond to the opposition. If you find yourself just wanting to name call, then we know maybe we need to work on our critical thinking skills. And you can do things on your own. Crossword puzzles, these Sudoku things, however you call them. These picture things that you see all over social media. These are things that stop and tax our brain. That's what critical thinking does. I learned strategy that I can then go forward with. And so we always want to keep that brain in action. But if you click on this link, it is going to give you a whole bunch of different topics, ideas, and things that you can do to increase critical thinking skills. But we are going to use one of these examples on a discussion board that you are going to do for me. And so it's going to actually be on assisted suicide. So if you don't know about assisted suicide, once you get done reading the prompt, You can use Google Scholar and find out more information about assisted suicide. So this topic is going to be posted in your discussion board.